Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Jobless Weebs, episode 34.
34.
Oh, wow. I'm Brian. With me today is Marco.
How are you, Brian?
Pretty good. Yeah. Well, actually, because you never really get used to rejection, even if it's from a job. So there's a lot of relatability from my favorite pastime, watching anime, with all the loners out there.
Oh boy,
Stick to 2D, huh?
Yeah,
Oh man.
all
But
those
yeah,
rejection
the
letters from the jobs, of course.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of job rejection letters. Yep.
Well, I hope that you don't become an actual jobless weeb.
Yeah. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been able to thin out a little bit my watch list.
Oh yeah, you finished quite a few from what you told me.
I did finish a bunch of animes, and I managed to finish the anime that we're gonna talk about today somehow.
Yeah,
so
I actually was surprised too when I looked at it. It's a short one, 6 episodes. So yeah, very
it wasn't that bad. It was concise. It left with an open ending, but there are a bunch of things to talk about it.
There are, yeah. And today's series is the Orbital Children, or I think a literal translation is the Extraterrestrial Boys and Girls.
And the Japanese name is Chijugai Shonen Shoujo. It's a Netflix series.
Yeah.
That came out this year. When did it come out?
Yeah,
exactly?
it was January 28th. I think was the official release day.
Okay, so not so long ago from recording date.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and then strangely enough, whenever I look at the information about it, it mentions that there's a part 1 and then a part 2, which I'm not too very familiar with what it's about, since there's not really any source material. I believe it's an original.
I think it was, because when I checked the information about it, it was ONA, which is kind of like an original.
That's right.
Series, pretty much.
It was directed by Mitsuo Iso, and also written by the same person. This part 1 is distributed through Netflix worldwide, and then it says part 2 is going to be released February 11th. It is a different type of anime release, not in the same vein of a lot of the other anime that we get to watch that gets licensed through Crunchyroll a lot of the time. Other than that, this was released all at once with part 1 so far.
Which is normal for Netflix standards.
Which is a Netflix standard. That's right. Really good show. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it a lot. It's a space one where 3 children come up to this hotel, basically a space station orbiting Earth, and they go there to spend some time there. They want a youth program to experience this.
And in that space station, there are already people aboard.
Yeah.
Which are kind of 3 pilots.
Yeah. 3 people in the command center.
A medic and 2 kids that were actually born in the moon.
That's right, on a moon base. They don't really explain a lot with how they grew up or anything on the moon, which, oh man, I would have so loved to have seen. These 2 children, we actually get to see through Toya, the main guy character. He is that kid who stays he's at the hotel. He kind of hates Earthers, anybody from Earth. And it's a story where they kind of get together, but some bad things start to happen right away. It's really crazy. A comet comes and starts breaking apart, puts the whole station in danger.
It was kind of weird, because they throw a lot of science, real science.
Oh yeah, there was
mixed with fiction.
Oh right.
So
a lot of the AI stuff. Yeah.
I mean, a
Oh
lot of the
yeah.
AI stuff are things that are still like we're waiting for them because we already
Oh
have
yeah.
AIs.
That's right. That's right.
The way they explored it, they also mentioned that there was an AI that affected these two kids
Oh yes.
that were already living in this space hotel.
Mm-hmm.
This AI was called Seven.
Yeah.
Seven was a super AI
Mm-hmm.
that was more intelligent than human.
Yep.
And so somehow the AI went mad. It became so intelligent that
Yeah.
it went mad and
Yep. It like surpassed human intelligence, and they called it lunatic.
yeah,
Yeah. Or it went lunatic or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this kind of like state, it kind
Mhm.
of like created some chips
Yeah.
for the kids that were born
Mhm.
in a moon base condition just so they could outlive themselves.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Because on the moon, and also anywhere in outer space, like on the space station, these kids they would grow up, and like Earth's gravity is actually very important for how our body
For the
process.
development, yeah.
Yeah, for our hormones and chemicals to be balanced and stuff. So yeah, for infants, it's super vital that it's balanced. So yeah, they got these like brain implants from this AI7, and it looked kind of interesting. It was kind of like I'm not even sure what kind of an implant they showed, but it was kind of like it followed the curve of the brain.
Right. Throughout the anime, they explain how
Mhm.
this implant would kind of like fade away or disintegrate as they
Yeah.
grow older,
Mhm.
with the exception of these two children,
Oh,
that somehow
yes.
it wasn't happening.
Yeah. Well,
And
they were two of the only ones that survived. Also,
right,
the other kids died
yeah,
around,
they
well,
didn't
very young.
made it like
Yeah.
past 3 years or so,
Yeah.
and they were already
Yeah.
14 years.
Mhm.
So kind of
And
like
it's
the fact
that's
that
right.
they were alive, it was like, yeah, we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, even that's like, yeah, with these implants dissolving now, they're not sure if they're gonna like keep living anymore. So there's a little bit of trauma or that buildup of uncertainty of if they're gonna live or not. And Toya, he's like a super hacker. He's kind of a genius too. So he's able to hack his implant throughout the show and hack like other things. So he has a little AI bot companion named
Dark Killer.
Yep, Darkness Killer.
Darkness
is his full name.
Oh
and
boy.
and yeah, as they're 14 years old, they're kind of like eighth graders about that time, or
I
just
guess,
around,
yeah, you could say that.
yeah, just around that age. So he's kind of like in his eighth grader syndrome phase.
Yeah, especially in anime, like,
Mhm.
yeah, he's one of those. I forgot the name. Is
Trivia, great, it's great. So yeah, a lot of like sci-fi scientific computer things, but also a lot of very just fun anime tropes that you would see.
I did like the animation. The animation
Ooh, yes.
made the anime very bubbly
Oh
and
yeah,
easy to handle.
it was very
It kind of like reminded me of
oh
Words Bubble Love,
it
like Soda Pop.
yeah, it
Like
also reminded me of that one.
the art was
Especially
pretty similar and
it
like
was,
very
yeah.
bubbly. Like
Uh-huh.
it still had a lot of color
Yeah,
until they
show
show you the messed up things that is happening there. Because out of all the extraordinary things that you can do with the AIs, then suddenly you get this character that is missing a few bolts on her head, and it's like, what the heck is wrong with you?
Oh yes.
I mean, we're getting ahead of us, but
oh yeah, that's a little farther in. But yes, you're right. It is very much that style of words bubble up like soda pop, especially the girl Mina, who live streams everything. She's kind of like a internet
celebrity,
or at least she wants to be.
Right.
They call it SkyTube, and she has like 100,000 followers or so, and she always streams. And
with her like a smart gauntlet or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
the smart gauntlet. And it's basically their cell phones, and it's literally just a glove that fits around their hands, and it's all a screen. So like you can hold it up, and if you're recording, you can see the screen projecting through.
Right.
Really cool technology.
Pretty much the anime itself, the story starts when they have this interaction with this comet that it's slowly breaking apart, and they discover that it's headed to Earth. And like pretty much for the first, I would say like for the first 4 episodes, it's like just showing how the kids are moving from like kind of like one of the lowest parts of the space station to a secure zone that where they are able to have like internet connection or oxygen.
That's right. Yeah, because the first few episodes, as you said, it's kind of like a survival anime. In space stations, we see a lot of shows that show like, oh, we gotta survive by going to a secure location with oxygen. So yeah, they try to. So yeah, there's a lot of suspense.
But it's suspense about the environment, because they were like, oh yeah, we don't know if there's any debris or like it's a vacuum and we're gonna just get pulled out.
Yeah,
and it's that kind of like theatrical like scenes that are like, okay, well, what are these kids gonna do now? Like, how are they going to get through this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which was good, but seems really it would have been too easy after going through that, like, and actually being able to beat those struggles. It would have been too easy, like, oh yeah, we're gonna get rescued and right. Because it's like, okay, I still have questions about like these 7 that you're talking about, and that these like, 7 left a poem, which has like the answers of the future. So it's like,
hints are dropped throughout the whole thing,
and it's in episode 5 where it's like where they are fixing the stuff now. They're like, oh yeah, this comet we kind of somehow trying to impede it from crashing with Earth and killing a bunch of people, because apparently there were kind of like nano machines or like inside the comet.
They called it a quantum circuit that like propagates, so you can see it starting to cover more and more of the comet. But and they find out that it controls the trajectory of the
it's
comet.
pretty much like a self-propelled comet. Like that the comet is alive.
Because it's like a computer that can wrap itself around this comet.
Which
it just blows my mind.
In theory,
it's
idea. Possible.
In
theory, it's possible. I mean,
like you could imagine maybe nanomachines,
right?
Covering something, maybe
quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics.
It's a field that it's still. It has been studied for the longest time. But as someone who like had a class of that in college, is like, okay, I'm not expert, but like one of the first things you gotta admit with quantum mechanics or like those kind of topics is like, the more you know, the less you understand.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
In those kind of programs, it's like, we don't understand it. Quantum, just go quantum, because like people won't even bother.
I see what you mean. I see. Just mention quantum and then you're
quantum
you're fine.
Sounds smart. Let's go with quantum.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
And so
and then that's when you kind of realize there's a little bit more than meets the eye.
Because they're like, okay, so this comet is like someone put those machines there.
This isn't an accident. Someone planned.
Because like, this freaking comet, like it didn't appear and was headed here. Like someone actually put those freaking computers inside the comet, and then the UN 2.0, which is like the stupidest name I've ever heard.
It's like the United Nations second iteration. So funny. Oh yes, they're the group responsible for putting limiters on
AIs
for cognitive limiters.
And pretty much that like what that was is like you just tell the AI that this is the amount of knowledge that you can get.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know if you're stand about that, but at least with mine, it's like, well, AIs, I don't know a lot about programming, but AIs is pretty much a bunch of if statements. So it's like,
yes.
if this happens, do this. If not, do this. If not, do this. If not.
Oh, yeah.
So like the way that an AI learns is like through trial and error, and it's like, it just makes like an infinite number of iterations. So that's how it's learned. That's how we have like, you know, like Google, Alexa, Siri.
Oh yeah. And these algorithms
because they need to learn patterns and all that stuff. It's like even like the YouTube videos, like all those algorithms is like, are those kind of things.
That's a sort of AI, yeah.
So it's like those machines need to learn, and if you put a stop to them, which it's alarming, but it's like, well, it's not like you can stop it.
Oh, okay. Right.
One scary thing is scary thing is like, you created those machines, but those machines want to keep learning, which is
what you design them to do.
Yeah, like you designed those machines to keep learning.
Yeah.
It was kind of ironic that the UN was like, oh yeah, we have all this technology, but we kind of like
that they limit it.
Want to stop it at a certain point, and like, why?
Yeah, I did feel like the UN too. They were kind of.
It's like they were not the bad guys, but
they weren't the bad guys.
They weren't certainly good guys.
And I think that's what and this is probably where the John Doe group comes in too.
Yeah.
A lot of these things that are happening, the children, they were like talking about how maybe it's terrorists who are using this comet to like do this bad thing. And it turns out that this group that they know of, John Doe, is actually a group, and they actually do have like an agenda or whatnot. But they're basically a very secretive group that follows this prophecy or like poem.
It's like a cult.
Yeah, it's in the cult. That's exactly right. That's right. And apparently they're the ones that are kind of like working against UN too.
They were the ones that implanted pretty much the computers into the comet.
Yeah.
Replicating 7.
Yes.
Before it went lunatic. And destroyed itself. So it was, they call it 7-2 or 7 second. 7 second.
Second 7.
They were like doing this, replicating this prophecy, and what this prophecy was, it was pretty much kind of like asking a computer what was the future of humanity.
Basically predicting possible outcomes and then like spitting out the results almost.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we have seen it already in a lot of genres. Because, for example,
that one, Akumada Drive had. Oh wait, not that specific thing, but it did have a quantum computer at the very end.
What they were hoping for the future was like, is humanity going to be sustainable?
Oh yes.
Like
that was
in the future.
Yeah, that was what.
And the computer was like, no, it's not. So you have to kill people if you want to keep surviving, which is.
It's not a new idea.
It's not. It's like for the longest time. The computer said
a third of the population has to die.
36% of people are
yeah.
Like, which it's not a new idea that we are overpopulated.
Right, overpopulation.
And that like all resources are scarce.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, we've been dealing with this for like the longest
decades,
time.
Generations. Yeah, absolutely.
And so this criminal cult / organization had an inside man.
Oh, yes.
Or in other words, an inside woman.
Yes, an inside woman inside this hotel that's helping this prediction come to fruition.
Yeah. Which was NASA Houston.
Oh, I kind of had a crush on her. I liked her. Oh man.
I mean, you know, since it was an anime, I didn't question the name.
Yeah. Like her name was NASA Houston.
'Cause,
Oh, well, that
I
was
mean,
great. I loved that.
there have been a lot
I
of
loved that.
animes where, I mean, from Tonikaku, the main character is NASA. His name is NASA
really?
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, from which other? From Bokura wa Mina Kawaiso, the main character, his name is USA, like USA.
Oh, okay. USA.
So,
yeah,
so it's
USA.
like, it's like
So yeah, it's
Azure Lane. Azure
Oh,
Lane.
yes, Azure
The
Lane.
ship girls
They
have
have.
names of states and
Oh
people. It's like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Their
question the name. It's
names.
like, I'm a weeb. It's like,
right, yeah.
if someone's name
It
is,
took me a while to find. It took me a while to figure out that was her name. But yeah, same. I was like, okay, yeah, it's normal.
yeah, it's an anime. If someone's name is kind of like Civic Honda, I'm not gonna question it. I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Though in the anime,
Oh yes,
they were like, yeah,
In
why didn't
Orbital
you question
Children.
that name? It's like,
Right.
it's a very stupid name.
yeah.
And
And she hinted that it was a fake name too. That blew me away.
this doctor
Yeah.
just
Oh yes.
radicalized. Is that the word?
Huh?
I mean, she became radical
Oh
with
yes,
the
yes.
ideals.
Yeah, she was a part of John Doe. Yeah,
But she was like
deep in this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very radical ideas.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like, we need to kill people.
Yeah, kill the 36%, a third of the population, and life will
And
go
kind of
on.
like, yeah, we're doing this for you guys because you guys are
Yeah.
hearing this prophecy. And like,
Oh yes,
that's kind of creepy.
and everyone was like, no way. Like no one really even. Well, actually, Tokia, he was like, I did think that way. He was like almost agreeing with her, but yeah, everyone else was like, what the heck are you saying? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
Toya agreed, but because
yes.
he wanted
Yeah,
Seven
Toya.
to be alive, the AI 7,
Right.
just so
Uh-huh.
he could understand more about the implant,
Yeah, that was
more than
what,
killing. I mean,
yeah, that's what is
the
real
killing the Earthlings
desire
was more like his Shinobu
Oh yes,
way of life.
yeah, he
Kind
lashing
of like,
out
like
on Earthers.
I hate people,
Mhm,
but it is
mhm.
not like the hate people is like, it means it's like I'm just not very sociable. Not that I don't want people.
Yeah, like Toya, he had to struggle with that understanding that he didn't want to kill anyone himself.
Like,
Yeah,
like there's a big difference between don't liking people and wanting them dead.
yeah. Even if it is like humanity's future on the line.
Yeah,
quote unquote. That part actually, when NASA Houston is going around like trying to like break the antenna so that the communication wouldn't go through between darkness and the comet.
The comet.
That part actually stood out to me a lot when she was like, especially using her
her like 3D printed.
using her upgraded like smart hand technology. She was like flinging around.
That part
things.
kind of reminded me of Denu Coil, the anime that I told you about, like smart glasses. It kind of reminded me a lot of that because they also throw a lot of like sci-fi stuff.
Okay.
Kind of like they were able to shoot some like rays, or like they were able to incapacitate other people's
with their glasses. Oh my!
With like some sort of like hack.
Oh yeah, I see.
So like
very similar situation. Yeah. Okay. That's very funny actually. It actually reminded me. I remember a specific quote. She said, "Don't you remember in the movies, the dark side is much stronger than the light side."
Oh, right.
It to sum up what she said. So I thought that was really, really cool. Very referencing to tons of other movies in outer space with light and dark.
Right.
Like really
the
big
most obvious one.
Star Wars. Yeah. So yeah, that reminded me a lot of that. But yeah, I loved that visual of her like reaching out her hand, and then you can see across the wall.
And she kind of admitted when she said like, yeah, remember the dark side is stronger. It's like,
yeah.
It's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, you're just contradicting yourself because just like a couple
Oh.
minutes ago, you were saying you were the good guys.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she was trying to.
So like
she was trying to.
That's how she
convince the
became
others.
like very radical on her ideals. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Like, what
you just
side are you
admitted
really
that you
on?
guys are not the good guys.
Yeah, exactly. Which was really sad. Like, for me, I think she was like one of the highlights of that show. I was really sad when she just like
yeah, she
got
just like
airlocked out of the station. I thought that was really sad.
that was a dumb move.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. She did it to herself. But yeah, it was like all for the sake of fulfilling the predictions, fulfilling the 7 poem. I thought that was really
that was another of the radical views.
Yeah,
you know, because I mean, something that really stood out to me as well was like, oh yeah, humans need a god.
Oh yes,
in order
really
for them to live. Like in the ancient times, they created tons of gods just so those gods could pass judgment to them.
And it's like and smooth over humanity's faults too.
Yeah, and it's like and now we have technology, so we still need to create our own gods, so those gods can pass judgment over us.
Judgment.
And
AI,
and those AIs were the new gods.
That's right.
And the judgment was killing 36% of the population.
That's right, because she specifically said science killed off the old gods.
And science became the new god. And it, you know, it kind of like reminded me. That kind of like reminded me of Nier Automata.
It did. Okay. That's awesome, because I think that was like the core part of that show was just that idea.
I think that organization was just so focused. In their god, in their new god, kind of like passing judgment, and they were like, if we don't have a god, if this prophecy doesn't become true, like what about us? It's like us? What are we gonna do? Because that means that everything was a lie. So like they were trying to force things to come through.
The prediction, they were trying to live it out. That's actually a pretty good explanation of that. That also reminds me of Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive series with the diagram. There's this character that like he was blessed by a god of that world for the capacity to save humanity, and so his like mind was like exploded with intelligence, and so his intelligence was like off the charts. Teravangian. So this guy, he had to like write it out all over his wall super fast. So like he created his own language. He did like tons of predictions, and so like this whole following is doing the same thing.
It pretty much happened the same.
Anime. It's
the same thing in the anime. So
so they're following this. In the anime,
like Houston, Texas, pretty much just kill herself.
Oh yes.
They're like, okay, what are we doing now? It's like to stop the comet. Then the girl is like, oh, I've been listening to this voice, and then it kind of like clicked her. It's like, oh, and Konoha is like, what if we connect with the
with second seven?
So using they are able to connect using the implant, like, and kind of like with Darky.
Oh yes.
And they are able to communicate with Seven, and they're like, oh yeah, we need to release the limiter from Second Seven. And Second Seven was already smarter than the first Seven, so they're like, so and this becomes even more like,
this is where it gets into really deep philosophical, really deep like technology and AI type stuff. I was kind of lost there, deep. And kind of like it blew my mind a little bit, because it's like I like the way that they blended like philosophy with science fiction. With science. I felt that too.
Because they were like, oh yeah, suddenly this freaking computer, the machine became omniscient pretty much, because it, like, the amount of intelligence it had was infinite. which
Mm,
is
when
like how is someone able
Yeah,
to
like, how is that?
quantify that? Because it's
Right.
like based on what? Like,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
saying like numbers, zeros and ones,
Right, right.
or like,
Or just sheer quantity.
yeah,
Because what happened was, they said yes, let's do this, because Second Seven was like, I feel like I have a limiter because I'm only in my frame of reference.
yeah, and that's
And
because
that's the limiter that
and
it perceived it had. Even
and
though
that's
it
also the
was smart.
limiter that the criminal organization put
Oh,
in the computer, because the criminal
yes,
organization
yes.
wanted to be like a carbon copy of Seven. So they're like,
Seven, right.
this
So
is going to be
that's what it
your,
was.
and they tell them like, you're going to be exact like this, and you're going to run these calculations, and if they're the same, then Seven was right and our God is right. And so when Darky was able to kind of like hack or have access to it and have like a communication with it, he was like, oh yeah, they just made me this way. So like, okay, yeah, you know what, just like you can grow a lot more.
Yeah.
So that's when it became like,
and that's when it did, yeah, because they connected Second Seven, which already surpassed Seven, to the internet.
Yeah, which is
the internet of all things.
It's like, you're gonna find a lot of garbage there.
And they did have a discussion about that too.
It did, because it's like, okay, you want to show an AI which is like they compare it to a newborn child. Like, you want to show all the nasty stuff that humanity has done to a newborn child. It's like, take into account that this newborn child is the smartest thing that has ever been alive. If we consider it to be alive.
That's right. They called it the smartest person in the world,
like in existence.
Yeah, that's
I mean, if we don't count it alive, it's like in existence.
Yeah, in existence.
And it's like, it's
and they debate like, that. They're like, is it right? Is it like,
kind of like,
okay to do that?
It's like that AI based on analyzing all that nastiness and also good things throughout like human history. It's like, it's going to develop a personality and and it's going to be the like
judge of humanity, almost
kind of saying like, oh, humanity is just bad or it's just good, or like what's happening. And the conclusion was like, I don't have an answer. And so like, it kind of became so smart. And at the same time, it was like, I don't give a crap about you guys.
It kind of accepted that it doesn't know. And since it was a comet, it started to change its trajectory into a regular orbit. So
kind of like, you know what?
Right,
I don't care about humanity, but I care about humans. And so it's like pretty much the episode 5 and episode 6 are very philosophical.
Kind
of like, because it was like, like, is humanity the same as humankind?
Because the AI, it was having trouble
the AI
understanding
was like,
humans,
what's the purpose of having a physical body? Like, where I'm at right now and in that place, they were like, you are in a pretty much a non-existence plane.
Time and space doesn't exist in AI or in the mind of the AI.
Because Konoha is sucked out because she also becomes super smart. Or rather super intelligent. Because I think that there's a huge difference between smart and intelligent for the AI.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Toya, his original purpose was to get rid of the implants. So he also connects with the AI and starts having this conversation, very philosophical, very existential, that is like, for a 14-year-old kid, is like, I don't think a 14-year-old kid would care about like existential questions. because he did not.
Yeah, he
Like
kept
even
saying,
like even after
I
the
wanna save
AI
her.
after the AI was like, you know what, like she's gonna be okay. Like
Yeah.
if she dies, it's like no big deal. It's like
Right.
that is not
That is,
important.
yeah.
And he was like, no,
yeah,
because
12.
I
Oh, yes. Because 12 was assimilated into 7, and it was like its spokesperson. That's right.
yeah, because this AI was so intelligent that thought that human language was
It was like,
outdated.
yeah, it was indifferent to human language.
Which
Which is pretty funny too.
like I can
It
understand
knows
like,
it, but it doesn't like use it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I kind of say like
Very
I've
fascinating.
invented so many new words that have a much more clear like explanation
Yeah.
that your monkey language is
Yeah.
not enough for me.
It's not enough. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, you cheeky computer.
Yeah. The computer like totally. So yeah, it's
like
so,
I can
it's
barely
so
speak
fascinating.
English, and I'm forgetting my Spanish.
Oh
but
no!
you go there and invent your freaking language. Like
Yeah, and turn and then says like there are no words to express my thoughts as an AI to your human language. So yeah, it's like wow. So yeah, Toya, he kind of gets like brushed off or given a cold shoulder by this AI.
yeah,
But then he's given that intelligence, or that he becomes capable of thinking as like a lunatic almost.
yeah. I mean, he reached that level as he was connected to the AI, and then then he was like, oh, there's a way to, like all those predictions from the computer, they might or they might not. So let's try for the might not.
That's right. That was his choice. And so the turning point of that, the individual, I would say battle almost, was when Toya and Konoha are they're holding on to each other, but Konoha like wants to accept this fate.
Like Konoha was supposed to be assimilated.
That's right.
By the AI.
Mm-hmm.
And Yuto was like, nope,
yeah,
not happening.
Not happening. So he grabs on tighter, and that's when Konoha realizes, oh, maybe I can have this choice. So yeah, she also grabs on. Such a great part. But yeah, that's when it's almost as if these two people kind of skirt this AI super intelligence, but still decide to try to live.
Yeah.
But the AI, of course, as we said, is like way beyond that. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
so
at this
crazy.
point, the AI is on another plane of existence. And there is like, you know what? Yeah, a physical body, never had it, never needed it.
Yeah.
So it's like, that is not really my thing.
Right. Yeah, so even that is like turning a blind eye
so like,
to that.
There were still a lot of things that an AI was not comprehending, despite having a spokesperson, which was 12.
Right. Yeah.
And
still, after all of that,
being connected even with Konoha, he did not care a lot about that. So it's like, yeah, you know what? Like, it's like, I don't care about you guys. Like,
oh, right. Not in a mean way.
Like, yeah, not in a specific way, but in a general way. It's like, you're all right. So it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna kill you.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the frame of reference like expands. Humanity and humans are like the same thing for it, but still like breaks apart.
Yeah, kind of like you see the comet breaking apart because as it's kind of like entering to the Earth's atmosphere, or like as it getting closer,
and
it starts to burn. Yeah. So all the computers are still in there because you can see the computers that were attached to the comet. So they made their way through, and Darky stays, and somehow it becomes attached to the comet.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they didn't say goodbye.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. They didn't want to say sayonara.
But because they were already also exceeding their limits, if they would have come back to Earth,
it would have been kind of illegal.
The UN 2.0 were like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's illegal.
They
so
would have, yeah.
So they kind of like decided to go with the comet.
Yeah.
That part I was still. I was confused. Probably I need to rewatch that part again.
Maybe, yeah.
Somehow they went with the AI and kind of like follow a trajectory, and it pretty much fast forwards time.
Oh yes.
6 months.
Yeah.
And they are living their regular lives.
Yeah, everyone kind of does their thing. Oh, except it's kind of funny. Mina becomes like a multi-millionaire or something.
Yeah, that was like she's like
really
giving
living
concerts in the moon.
Yeah,
and becomes an advocate for the moon,
for space.
Yeah,
station stuff. Yeah,
in the moon, or like just like people moving there.
Yeah, she's an idol now, which is great.
Yeah, which
everyone
like,
else.
Wait,
also,
when did that happen? And like,
yeah, it was pretty interesting. Yeah, so she still has like a huge following. The two guys, Toya and Tayu.
Yeah, they start working for.
Yeah, they're working together.
UN 3.0.
Yeah, UN 3.0. Oh, it's great. But now with like better things, they're working with AI.
Yeah,
they're like living.
But still, that shows you that UN 2.0 was kind of corrupted.
It was. Yeah. UN 2.0 tried to keep AI under their thumb, and even some people, in a way. But with this new UN 3.0, these children can like work on some more things apparently. Oh, it was kind of cool actually at the end how Toya explained that he's back on Earth, but then Konoha talks with him about like, I thought you hated like
going
Earth.
to Earth.
Yeah, going to Earth at all.
And how he explained like, no, Earth came to me.
Yeah, and he left his cradle, which was space for him, when the whole show was all about how humanity should leave Earth because Earth was its cradle.
It's no longer sustainable.
Yeah.
Pretty much that was the general idea, but
yeah, that was the whole
kind of like the message was like, yeah, you know what, you have to leave whatever place is putting you limits.
Whatever it is, your comfort zone is holding you back. For him, space was that. So yeah, he breaks out of his cradle in a way, going to Earth, which was I thought was a really, really cool.
That was a great message, I think, as well.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so they receive an email from someone, and it was kind of like a pinpoint location where they were able to listen to 7 again. So
yes, that was wonderful.
Okay, so this is where the second part
That's where Yep, because they go out to this ruined building area, and then they see up in the Milky Way, and they can hear 7 again, which kind of reminded me of Whale Song.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was going to complain at the beginning, kind of like,
oh really?
Freaking whales
sounded
again.
Like whale songs. Yeah. Okay, I'm scared of like deep ocean type stuff, like. Just that whole feeling is one of my phobias, I think.
Is it? No. No, I was more
like okay, like, that's scary, man.
I like whales. I like the sound they make, but it's
really?
Like, it's just so present in anime, you know?
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like in even in a lot of past animes, like Belle, there was a freaking whale.
You know, you're right. Okay, now
Joseph
you
the tiger,
it, I know what you mean.
And the fish.
The Boy and the Beast.
There was a whale. The Boy and the Beast. There was a freaking whale.
Yep, of course. I think I get what you mean, actually.
So that was a myth, and I was like, oh, will you give it a rest with a whale? Like, there's so much more.
Okay.
Out there.
Okay. Yes. Oh, that's.
But then
funny.
I was like, okay,
funny.
That's the annoying new language from
AI.
From the AI. Okay, they're like, you're gonna pass for today, but just for today.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't think we'd mention that, but yeah, it was kind of an odd thing. That's funny. Wow.
Okay, so the second part comes.
Yes. February 11th.
11th. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I hope everyone who watches this would give it a try. We'll see Seven's return. Fingers crossed.
Darky.
And Darky's return. Yeah. Oh yes, I hope he returns. Darkness better return. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Darkness. That freaking name, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, he was a great character. Wow. Yeah.
And the Revenge of Houston, Texas. I mean Houston.
Oh,
Texas.
oh yes. I mean NASA. NASA Houston. Yeah. Oh, I hope she returns.
I like so, but
she was hurt. She was literally shot into space. You don't survive very long in space without a spacesuit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's a natural cause of death.
That's what
Space
happens
exposure.
when there's no pressure in space. So turns out that you need certain level of pressure to stay alive. So
Oh yeah.
I hope you guys like this video. Make sure to check Extraterrestrial Children.
Yep. Give it a try. We really liked it. There's a lot of things to love about it.
Yeah, with all in all, with all the philosophical and existential stuff, it's like
especially that.
like there's a bit of a lot of genres.
Yes. Oh yes.
So, like, if you like space, the space genre is like,
Oh yeah.
you're probably gonna like this.
Yeah.
This was all for today.
Yep.
We'll hope to see you next week.
Mhm.
We are the Jobless Weebs, and
Yeah.
keep watching anime, and see you later.
See you then.